All right, so we're going to give you an update here on Beryl. Let's take a look at what's new. Well, a little bit surprisingly, Beryl still is a tropical storm. We've been watching the radar and the set on the right side of the screen here. Very organized, a lot of bandage. If the hurricane were just a little tiny bit further, I think the tropical storm aligns certain important islands we talked about, off to on the southwest rainfall. So where that band shifts, where it actually is when it's extending to the south. Like I said, there could be some lingering rain into Monday evening because of that feature. I like the probability of strong tropical storm force winds at 58 mile per hour or greater threshold to kind of show, your areas where the highest chance of power outages are going to be. So just kind of follow that along this image. If you take a look at the sort of the brown and orange colors, that's at a location like Sugar Land, for example. That's about a 50 to 60% chance of those strong tropical storm force winds. And then along the coast, it's almost 100%. So 90 to 80 as you might high. That's why we call it a peak storm surge forecast, and that's above ground level. We are also using our potential storm surge flood 1 foot in blue and above threats that get a little bit above 6 feet. But that's probably really isolated in very low-lying areas. We like to show the tide forecast there, kind of right off the Galveston coast there. We have a lot of interest there, obviously, into the ship channel entrance there. It's going to be a pretty sharp increase in the early morning hours. I actually forgot to change the labels of the time down here, so I'll have to fix that before I send it out. But this peak is occurring at about 7 a.m. Monday morning. So don't look at that label there right now. And I think what we'll see is like 6 or 7 feet above mean lower low water, which is about a 4-foot storm surge. Could be, like I said, could get right around 4, maybe even a little bit above 4 on the actual surge, which puts it about 7 feet above mean low low water. But notice it's going to be a pretty good peak there, and then we'll fall off through the afternoon hours. Rainfall forecast, not a lot has changed. The heaviest rain is going to be along the coast. We could see some areas, especially the immediate coast, of 8 to 12 inches, further inland 6 to 8, and then further inland from that, more like 4 to 6. Fortunately, Beryl will continue to move, and things really do improve on Monday evening across the area. And this kind of follows along with the excessive rainfall outlook at moderate risk of flash flooding across pretty much all of Southeast Texas. You see for tonight, it's really along the coast there as Beryl comes on shore, and then tomorrow night extends further north across the whole area on our moderate risk. Of course, we have a flash flood watch out entire Southeast Texas. Tornado risk, as I spoke earlier, it's going to increase here overnight and probably continue then into Monday and extend further north and east, even from Southeast Texas. Looking for those isolated tornadoes and rain bands. They're hard to warn for sometimes. They're brief. And we'll be watching that closely here tonight as rain bands come on shore. When we talked to the Storm Prediction Center, they said that the shear was kind of just now getting there, our wind shear, but as the storm approaches, our low-level wind shear increases. So it really does go up a little bit later tonight. So we'll be watching for that. Not a lot of change in our river forecast, using 2 days of future QPF, which is going to encompass this whole event. Again, centered on the La Navidad, Palacios, Tres Palacios, San Bernard rivers, where we could see some major and moderate flooding down there. So we'll keep watching those areas. So the key takeaways: Beryl remains a tropical storm, even though it looks really close to being a hurricane. Still forecast to be a Category 1 hurricane, even though we only have 6 or 7 hours or so. There's a decent chance of it being a hurricane. So we have all hazards. I want to point that out: high winds, heavy rainfall, storm surge flooding, especially in the low-lying coastal areas, and then also isolated tornadoes. So in a nutshell, stormy night beginning now through Monday morning, and improving conditions probably late afternoon into the evening. And we're also watching for that significant storm surge here Monday morning here along the coast, as it will coincide, unfortunately, with high tide at a lot of locations. Let me stop here.